Hello and welcome to another episode of TTG Conversations Innovator Chat. I'm Pamela Chow and with us today is Liu Wei Chun. She is the co-founder and executive vice president of KKday. Hi Wei Chun, thanks for joining our series.
Hi, glad to be here.
Great. So, as travel businesses turn to domestic demand for survival, KKday, you had a hand in helping your partners to develop and market their new offerings. And these included some unique activities like glamping with manatees and bakwa delivery. So, Wei Chun, can you tell us more about these new and interesting activities that were introduced?
Yeah. Well, since the COVID outbreak, we sort of look into our entire product portfolios, and then we look at the timing. So we break our product into almost like two phases. So the first part is really how we can help people to get back on their feet during this difficult time. For example, for some of the market that has been hit harder, such as Philippines, Thailand, we have language learning lessons. We have souvenir packages that really help them to send their love to people that they care about. I think in some of the market, we even have COVID tests, so you can do your own PCR test at home. Those are the part that we are trying to help people. But we also look at how could we help people in terms of their sort of psychological in a more mental way. So for example, during the Chinese New Year, we launched a lot of virtual products, something that just make people smile. So for example, previously you went to Thailand to visit the full face Buddha, but today you can't travel. So what we do is we allow you to purchase, make your wishes online. And then we will have someone in Thailand on the ground to deliver, to write down all your wishes while you can watch all that through a live stream or a video. So all those are something that's funny, somewhat engaging. So we try to take the virtual tools into the next level. Something else that might be interesting is during the Chinese New Year, people line up for bakwa, right? But this year, that there's a rule that you can't really get online. But still, you want to get your bagua, you want to deliver it to someone that you love. So what we did is we have a bagua pre-order. Now that's not something special, but we bundle it with our delivery guy dressed up as a Cai Shen Ye. So then the wills of God deliver bagua to your house. So it's not just bagua, but it's really something that makes people smile. So those are the things that we do during a more difficult time. But as we progress into when we get ready for the next phase of travel, then we start to look at what are the products that we can engage the local. So for example, something that's very well publicized is glamping with manatees. So that's something, every kid in Singapore go to the zoo, right? But then, what are the chances that you get to sleep in a tent overnight next to the manatee? So all those are the sort of unique once in a lifetime experience. We also look at, what are the forgotten needs. So for example, every e-commerce platform cater to the young professional, right? People between the age of 25 to 35 who are very tech savvy, right? They know exactly where to look for what. But if you are a busy mom like me, right? I have to think about, okay, where do I bring my kids during the weekend? What do I do? What are the activities that's, will keep my kids occupied for a Sunday? Then that's when we have something, then we work with our suppliers and trying to come up with something unique. So another example that we did was a sport camp with Nerf. Instead of just buying a tickets, we actually host sessions. We get a group of kids together. They get to shoot each other and burn out their energy. So that's the type of activity that we want to provide during school holiday. Then, up on our roadmap, we have something like, do a farm trip for a day. We have all sort of family-oriented activities. So hopefully that, when you can travel abroad, you still find there are a lot of things to do locally.
Well, that's really a lot of different needs that you take care of, from mental well-being to physical to families and needing to burn off that energy. So, I want to know more about how you are working with your partners to really execute these events and these activities, especially more, unique ones like the swab test and the sports camp and the glamping.
We first look at it by separating our partners into two categories. So there are the extremely big suppliers like, I don't want to name names, but basically they are the guys who has a lot of resources. They own a lot of assets. All they need to think about is how do I refresh my product offerings. So for example, staycation is the new thing, right? But then at the end of the day, you are looking at, hotel A is selling at $300, and then hotel B is trying to undercut by selling at $298. So it's very difficult to differentiate different products. So what we coming is that we have data from across different markets. We're trying to take all our learnings and try to bring it to each individual market. So for example, how can you further bundle your staycation? How can you upsell your tickets? What are the in-park experience you can provide? So those are for the really big giant suppliers. All we need to do is to be their sort of idea providers. So we keep feeding them ideas, trying to work with them by coming up with something new and interesting. But then we look at another set of suppliers who are small and medium size. That's when it's about survival for them. They usually don't have they usually don't have an internal engineering team. They don't have the system. So that's when we will really try to come in and say, okay, we have an end-to-end solutions. What are the things that we can help you with? You know how to run a product, but you may not know the technology. You don't have a selling platform. Here are the things we could do for you. So one of the example might be that, okay, previously when I sell to international OTAs, I don't mind them charging me a commission, right? Because they're distributing my products to another market, which I have no control over. But right now, I'm selling locally, and I'm running. It's an extremely difficult situation already. So how do I address that? So that's when we come in and say, hey, look, here is a system. Here is a SaaS system that you can use. You can use it to build your own online store instead of distributing through us, who will charge you a commission. You can distribute on your own. You might have instead of online orders, you might have walk-in customers. How do you bridge the online and offline demand together? How do you manage all your different products? How do you create your own online store? All that are the challenges that the suppliers that didn't handle before. So for those type of suppliers, that's when we give them the tech support, the marketing consultancy. So we really look at who are the suppliers, what type of help they need, and then we go from there.
Okay. So, talking about taking all this international demand and now suddenly it's become domestic. So from what you have seen so far, how do these domestic booking patterns differ from when it was international travelers? And, has this spurred any changes to your user experience on your platform?
So COVID really changed the way people travel probably forever. And then for travel industry, we almost see COVID as a blessing in disguise, because this really put your business into a test to see if you pass a local test, right? So when you talk about domestic travel, there are a couple of differences. The first thing is there's no language barrier, right? So everything is local. The second thing is they have symmetric information. So your consumer know as much as you do. Then lastly is they plan even the last minutes. So we know everything is moving toward the instant, toward the tech integration, instant confirmation. You want to get things right away, right? But with local, that it actually accelerate the entire process, right? Because previously when you move to another country, you can expect, okay, I can wait for a day or two. I'd rather book from someone reliable than booking on the spot. But when you talk about a local domestic travel, you remove that all away. So that means your system need to be even more reliable. So what does that mean for us? That means we need to have even better content, better pricing, and a better system. So I can share one of the pain points that almost all suppliers face. So I remember pre-COVID, right? All you need to do is book a ticket online. And when you enter, you show your QR code and you enter. But right now, everywhere you go, you need to do through two steps. The first thing is you buy a ticket online. The second thing is you need to go onto a separate site to reserve a slot. So that's daily life now. But what if we have a system that combines these two processes together? It will really be a lot easier for supplier to manage their occupancy rate at any given point. It will be a better user experience for our customers. And then it will even be better, easier for us to manage the COVID situation. So we have to look at a lot of the market. The COVID comes and goes, right? You have heard the second wave, the third wave, so every time there is an outbreak, then there is a change in regulation. Then consumer has their pre-booked tickets, and there is do you get a refund? Is that the same tickets as the open day versus the so all that need to be addressed systematically. That's again, we have embedded that into our system solution. That's why we really think it's a blessing in disguise. It pushed everyone look at it and think almost from an ecosystem perspective. So that's why I think again, your product needs to be more experiential. Your user experience needs to be more instant. All that you can miss one of the elements, and all those two will make your it's the only way for you to be successful in domestic travel.
I guess that's why they say adversity breeds innovation, forces people to think ahead. Yeah, that's very true. And so talking about all these a new platform, you also introduced Rezio to help your partners with adopting e-commerce. So is all of the above what you said? Is this what drove KKday to introduce Rezio for your partners?
For us, it's never really about, dominating the entire ecosystem, but rather how could we coexist with the entire supply chain. Travel is by nature, it's an activity that has a lower frequency. For travel, it's really once in a month kind of every couple of months kind of activity. So for us, it's really, we will only be as successful as our partners. And our industry is also more fragmented. So for example, if you are food delivery, you work with restaurant, right? But for us, we work from tour providers, workshop providers, outdoor activity providers, attraction providers. So for us, it's everything under the sun. So I think this is something that we want to make sure there is an ecosystem when after COVID is gone. So I think that's why we are so emphasized on how can we further improve our system, how can we further help the industry. In fact, a lot of things we do, we don't do it for KKday. We understand that we are relatively well funded, we know that we will definitely be around post-COVID, but a lot of our supplier won't be. So we were trying to help out as much as we can. That's one of the reasons why we are waiving the subscription fee for our resale product. In fact, all our suppliers are getting a 1-year subscription fee free. So for us, that's something that's a little bit that what we're trying to do for the industry.
It's like creating a bit of a legacy system for them to carry on with. Yeah. So, you have, like you said, you have a lot of different businesses covering the entire region. I'm sure some of them are more traditional businesses. So, when you launched Resio, how has the system actually helped them that you have seen?
This actually is very well received. In just a year, we acquired close to 500 suppliers. Right now, there are over 12,000 activities that are using Resio. We have served over 150,000 tourists. All that happened in the past year during COVID. We actually support a wide range of suppliers. So from big attraction ticket providers, from the travel DMC to sort of workshop providers. For some of the bigger suppliers, they prefer not to be named, but I want to share something. A smaller suppliers, how they use our system to help their business. So one of the example is Kinchu Bazang. So what they do is they are also a visit center in Katong. So what they do is they try to promote their unique experience through different packages. So it could be a form of tour, it could be a form of dining experience. But previously they are a tour provider. They don't have a system support. So right now they are using Resio to distribute to multiple sales channels. So it's easier for them to manage their capacity. So you could only have X number of tour guides at a given time slot. How do you manage that? If one channels book up the entire capacity, how do you manage the allowance or the booking numbers from different channels? So they're using that. We are also working with a number of glamping providers. So for them, it's even more complicated because they have the issue of tent versus number of customers. So imagine you have 4 people, but they could use up 1 or 2 tents, depending on if it's a 1 or 2 family, right? So all that, because previously no one, they didn't really have a capacity constraint. It's literally just outserve as many people as possible. But right now you have the 8 people group restrictions. You have all the regulation related to COVID. All that was never built into the system. So I would say a lot of smaller suppliers are happily using our system.
So did they come on board, because you helped to make e-commerce more accessible?
Definitely. I think, again, I can't stress more enough about the ecosystem. There's no point for us to take all the profit in the supply chain. It's really make sure that there are enough diversified type of products out there, and then they all have the technology capability to integrate with us. So therefore, the user behavior, the travel behavior will be built up over time. So our ultimate goal is that, say, in 5 years, people will book activity. It's as easy as if they are booking a hotel room or airline tickets, right? For hotel room or airlines, those industries are very standardized. The booking process are very mature already. But that's not the case for experience. Right? There's still a lot of things to do. So our priority is to make sure that our system addresses every vertical, so that every type of activity suppliers challenges. So we have enough product to attract users, and so users will see, hey, I actually see a value into booking something over a booking platform rather than, oh, I'm just looking for the cheapest tickets online, right? So I think value proposition is finding the value proposition from the supply chain is more important than anything else.
I think you're making more people excited about getting to travel again in the future with such easy to book experiences. So, talking about getting to travel again, now that vaccinations are being distributed across Asia, so what opportunities are you seeing for 2021?
So travel bubble is definitely in the horizon. We do feel that even though we will only see a small numbers of travelers, but I think eventually things will go back to normal. And travel demand is definitely repressed for too long already. So we actually see a new additional opportunity, because if you look at all the consumer right now, they more or less use the same social media. They look at the same type of content. So everyone use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, right? Every young people goes to hipster cafe, right? This activity is actually very similar. So we realize that all the domestic activity we develop right now are actually the perfect opportunity to introduce to future tourists. And so, let's say glamping, it probably is never on top of your mind when you first visit Singapore. But now that we have served the glamping with manatee to the locals, I'm sure this is something that foreign tourists will want to experience in the future as well.
Yeah, that is very true. And even in the short term, more locals will want to experience it when they see that other people are doing such exciting activities.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. Thank you so much for sharing your insight with us. That's all the time we have today. Thank you, Wei Chun.
Thank you.
And thank you to our viewers as well. If you have any feedback or interest in joining our conversation here on Innovator Chat, please drop us a note. Thank you all and have a good day, everyone.